Hello and welcome, and in this video we are going to make a character, kind of a toonish character. So if I just look here, this is Victor from Cosmos Laundromat, which is a Blender film, and we are going to make a character not as detailed or as good as this guy, but in the kind of this style. So humanoid, kind of bipedal character with kind of toony proportions. So I'm going to start with a plane and scale it down. Let's just turn these keys on here so you can see what we're doing. And so I'm going to go into edit mode, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a sole of a shoe. So actually the very first thing we're going to do is move this. I'm going to go GX, and this is going to be the heel basically of the shoe. So I'm going to subdivide that, and we'll delete that vert and that one, and move this in a bit, and that one, and then it's going to hit E to extrude, and okay, and we'll join that together. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and make some faces. I'll subdivide that. Whoops, and G. And we can, if this isn't exactly the right shape, we can tweak it later. Okay, and we'll delete that guy there, and move them a little further back. So that's the basic shape of the sole of our shoe. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a mirror modifier, and there it is over there. So we'll select it all, and we'll extrude it upwards on Z. We're going to extrude it again and hit escape, and then scale it in a little bit, and then we'll look from the top. So when I've done that, it's scaled further in on Y than it has on X. So we're just going to scale a little bit more on X, and then scale it back a little bit on Y, and we are going to extrude it again upwards, scale it in, and scale it in. Okay, now we're going to look at it from the side, and we're going to move it back on Y. Now that's quite a dramatic shift, so we'll Control R and put in a loop cut. So scale it on Y again, and GY, and we'll get that there. So that's not too bad. I'm going to select it all and go Control N just to make sure all the normals are facing out. We will go into shading here and hit smooth shading, and we'll add a subdivision surface modifier, and we'll put on view of 2. So that's what we've got so far, and that's basically our shoe. So next stage is to bring it up higher. So our choices are here. We can extrude this out and make it into sort of a boot, or we can keep it as a shoe, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go down here to the face select mode and select these faces here, and I'm going to go E and then escape, and then scale on X and scale on Y, and then I'm going to extrude downwards and extrude, maybe scale it in a fraction, and then extrude downwards again. Now for this next bit, I'm going to take these, I'm going to extrude them, escape, scale in, and then extrude upwards, and extrude upwards again. and this is going to be the basis of my leg. Now I've plenty to play around with here to fix, so we won't get caught up in small movements of geometry here, but there's a few we'll make some changes to this a bit later on and make it look more shoe-like, shall we say. But for now, that's okay. So I'm going to take this top layer and I'm going to delete it just for now, and I'm going to fix this here. Before I do that, I'm going to add in a loop cut. So I'm going to go Control-R and put this right down the middle. Now, and that's going to give us a little bit more sort of room to maneuver. So we'll take that there and go GZ, and we'll take that and that. Actually, probably that one and that one. Oops. And extrude them up a little bit. We'll scale them in and make sort of a tongue on our shoe. Okay. Now, that one there. Okay. So from here, I'm going to select that loop cut, and that's going to be the basis of our leg. Now there's a couple. I'm going to go spacebar, TO, and S, so to sphere. And this will, if this were, anything other than flat, it would have made the leg, or basically it would have turned into a sphere. Because it's only two-dimensional, it's making it into, although it says to sphere, it's effectively to circle. So that's a better sort of shape to start with. Again, we'll extrude upwards on Z. Extrude again, and we will shift that over a little bit and extrude up, and stop about there. So again, now we have choices that we're going to make. So we've got our ankle, with our slight ankle bone protruding this way. And our choices now are, what do we, how will we proceed with this leg? So is it an actual like flesh and bone? Are we going to see it? Is he going to wear a pair of shorts, or what's the character going to have here? Or are we going to make, as we have in our image here, sort of socks and trousers? So we're going to go with something a little bit like that. So I'm going to take this loop here, I'm going to extrude it and hit escape, and then go S for scale, extrude and Z, and then scale it out a little bit, extrude and escape, so S, and we'll give it a little twist, and then extrude upwards, and we'll scale in. Now, before we go any further, we're going to, this is a very kind of rounded end, so we don't want him wearing strange kind of clown trousers, so we'll put in a loop cut, bring that down, and this is quite thick, so again, we'll scale this out, and we could do with a loop cut on the inside to make it a sharper sort of edge. So that's going to be our that's going to be our kind of starting point for our trousers. So we'll extrude upwards and scale in a little bit, and then at this point we're going to put in a knee. So we'll go out, go back in again a little bit, extrude up. And now we'll take the entire leg and go GX, move it in this way. Now, a few basic things to do. This will help us later when we're rigging. So I'm going to go into wireframe and just going to move this forward slightly on Y, and take this and rotate it fractionally and move it forward, and then do the same here, rotate it and move it fractionally forward on Y. Okay, and I'm going to turn on clipping and take our these three verts here. I'm going to extrude them into the center until they join, and now we have sort of a basis for the our kind of hips. So we'll extrude that up, extrude it up again, and extrude it in. And I'm just going to go SZ 0. Now that's sort of an unnatural straight line, but it'll work. We can fix it in a minute. So now let's take this vert here, GY, move it out, and this one, and this one here, and that one, and that one. Okay. GY. Okay. And take this one and cheese it a little bit. Okay. So this is you know, the bottom half of our character. Now it is quite cartoony, so we're not going to win any awards for photorealism, but it is not a bad start. Now, just so we can kind of differentiate these pieces as we progress through this, I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to go B, select it to there, and then to there. And I'm going to take that and that and that. Actually, I'll leave the last one. And I don't want this area here, kind of the tongue of the shoe. So I'm going to go C and do that. Now, I am going to go to my materials, and I'm going to go into cycles render for now, and we're going to go new material. We'll call this brown, and we'll make it brown. And we will make another new material, and this one we will call green. Now we'll change all these a bit later, and our green we shall make green, maybe a bit darker. Now I'm going to hit assign here, so that green is being assigned to our oops, go to materials, our material. Now I'm going to go select invert, and what I need here is another layer, so I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to put brown on this layer and go assign, and then this middle bit here, oops, that we'll have to go in and kind of pick out. There, we will make a new layer and assign the original material, and we'll just hit assign for that, because that's kind of grey. So this is now what we've got, and we can maybe make this slightly off-white. Maybe, yeah, let's leave it like that for now. So these are just sort of reference colors. Now if we want to make it, give it a tiny bit more sort of feel to it, we can turn on ambient occlusion, which will just give us a bit more kind of light and dark and shadowy kind of areas. Okay, so that's kind of the first part of the model. We're 15 minutes in, so I'm going to stop now. In the second part, I'm going to make the torso and then the hands, and then we'll look at building the rest of the face in, and complete this in hopefully relatively short amount of time. Okay, so we will stop for now.